Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back, and we've got a fun one for you here today because it's a 2-on-1 here, a great situation. Even though Tevin says I don't like to watch The Amazing Race, what a team we have here for you today. To join us from Survivor 46, the great Andy Griffith Alliance is here. Yeah. Tevin Davis and Hunter McKnight. Yes,
we're here.
Who's gonna whistle?
We're here. Ring the bell. I ain't got a bell.
Hey, whistle for him, Tevin. Whistle for him, Tevin.
You said what? See, Rob, we should have had an intro. Me and Hunter filmed and remember we went out there by that little river, Hunter. We filmed the little Andy Griffith thing. You should have put that in the opening. It's okay. Next time, Rob. Next time.
Okay, next time. And yeah, very excited to talk here about everything that's going on here in Survivor 50. But how are you guys doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing really well.
You're not blessed, Hunter? You're not feeling Christianly blessed, Hunter? I thought you said you'd be blessed.
Well, that was included in the well. I'm doing well. There's a lot of things are going well. School's going well. The spring semester is flying by as usual, but things are going really well. And season 50 is happening, and it's been a lot of fun.
And that's going well too. Yeah. And Tevin, how about you?
Yeah, I'm blessed. I'm alive, so I can do. I'm as good as I can be. You know, and I think the world is a little chaotic. It's a lot of chaotic, but I am blessed, and I carry joy forward with me, and so I'm as blessed as I'm choosing to be.
Well, you were telling us right before we went on that you're about to go on tour. You got a big show coming up.
Yep, I have some stuff that's coming up. I got to go up to New York, and we're putting some final touches on things, so the people are going to know about it as soon as I release it. All the information will be there for the folks.
Okay.
But understand that yes, things are coming.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into talking about season 50. I've loved it so much so far. I thought these 2 episodes have been so fun. Hunter, I'll start with you. What's been your reaction overall?
Yeah, Hunter, what's been your reaction?
Well, the thing that's been great about it, what's different, and I think it's been so long since we've had a returnee season, we don't have to spend time getting to know the characters because we already know them. So I feel like the first couple of episodes of like a newbie season, you spend so much time figuring out who these people are, maybe hearing a backstory. So it feels kind of slow, but this one, like you jump right in, and it has been really interesting to see all these different dynamics begin to play out. And what's funny is even the dynamics that have existed beforehand, like how were they able to get the Ozzy and Coach beef started so early? And they're on different tribes. Like that's what's incredible is these people, like they've done a great job of like allowing interactions to happen genuinely that have led to beef. And without them even being on the same tribe is a testament to like some of the game formatting has worked out well in their favor. Because what were the odds that they were like, Coach, you go, Ozzy, you go. And then all of a sudden now we've got this whole storyline that has permeated through 2 episodes. When I don't think you definitely would not have that without a returnee season. And if you were spending so much time getting backstories, it's fun. I'm excited. Like it is starting really well.
Hunter, what number season is South Pacific?
Uh-oh.
Oh my goodness. Hold on. No. Why are we doing? Okay. I know. Okay. Is it 23? Is it 23?
It is 23.
Yes.
Yes. Halfway to 46. That was what they should have called it.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, he should have done that a few years ago, but that's okay, Hunter.
Honestly, if they would have had me number them, I couldn't have done better. But I knew the 20s okay, but the ones before that. Anyways, man, that's a little 30s. Flashback.
30s
I got the 30s and the single digits were tough.
40s not tricky.
No,
that's not
I
tricky.
would say I had those on there.
Yeah,
forget about 41, but yes.
Tevin, all right. What about for you? What's been your reaction to 2 weeks of Survivor 50?
It's been good. I think I've been really focused on so many things. So 49, I didn't even really get to watch 49 that deeply, and so I'm kind of swinging back into 50 now, just because I've been kind of all over the place. But what's nice is that this is the first time that I am watching, and I have like people that I genuinely know. Like you got Tiff, you got Q. These are my friends. So the first time that we get to
Charlie?
Watch people play. Charlie too. Yeah, I mean, there's so many people out there, but Tiff and Q, I ride with them. Okay.
Yeah.
And so it is wonderful to watch your friends play the game, and then knowing them, and then because I know them so well, I can see when they dip in and out of themselves and when they are amending themselves to make game decisions. And so I think that's fascinating.
Well, it's a blessing and a curse, I guess, to be on a season like yours, because that really, you could have made the case. You have 3 people in Survivor 50, and you could have
Yeah.
made the case for maybe 5 more people from season 46 that come back.
As I was watching it, I was like, I really think like there's some more characters from our season that could, be out there. But then how do you justify, even though they are so singular and unique, how do you justify putting that many people from one season on there? It is the biggest target. I don't think it would structurally work in the game. It's just too big of a
Sure. But
threat.
I've talked about your season that it's my favorite from the new era. I just think that on and off the screen,
Okay.
there was just so much drama,
You said
even
on and off
all
the
the way
screen.
into the end to talk about Charlie and Kenzie and Maria's vote. Like there just was so much to talk about in season 46.
Mm-hmm.
It was a mess. Talk about on screen and off screen. We were chaotic down to the core, but I think that many people could be on that beach, and so it's fascinating to see who they chose though, and to watch how those people interact and why. Trying to understand how they're thinking about it, and then watching the dynamics play out. It's fascinating to watch.
And I think that being said, I think they did pick a good 3. As much as
Yeah.
there are so many that could be on there, I think the 3 they got is a good representative group of season 46. And it may be lacking a little bit in the chaos, but you got Q to pick up on a lot of that.
Well,
we'll see how it
Q
plays
has
out.
not been that chaotic.
He has
so far.
He has not.
hasn't. And that's something people don't realize is Q is a character, I think a lot of the time by choice, because I've been around Q when he's, and I don't want to say normal, right? Normal isn't the right word, but when he's like relaxed and he can just be like hanging out, like sitting on the couch, not going crazy, but he can also very easily switch into it. And he's done a good job of just being the normal Q that fits with the group, like what the group dynamic is. And you can see with this episode where he's identified what this group appreciates and is very easily falling into that.
Yeah. Tevin, so far we saw Q really not really talk too much about anything out of the ordinary that he wants to do. He's been very focused on the camp life, it seems like. And he was very down on, we saw in this episode, Rizzo and Angelina as not being
Q
hard
don't like
workers.
nobody being damn lazy. Q don't like nobody being lazy. I already know it's gonna be a problem. As soon as I seen Rizzo sucking his finger, trying to suck the blood out of whatever the hell he was doing, I said Q's not gonna like this. Cut shot to Q. That boy lazy. I said I knew it. I knew it was coming because he is a worker. And Q don't like being bored either. So I already knew he was gonna have to keep his hands busy because on 46 he was like, I mean, man, we got a down day. He's like. I mean, let's play hide and seek. But, then he had his old little whatever with that. But I already knew that won't go well. He don't like people being lazy. He was like, get up, get to work. I mean, you think I was sitting around here? I mean, me and Hunter at our camp, we built, and that's kind of why, Hunter, Liz, and I kind of became a 3 because Hunter and I were working on the shelter so fervently. And then, Liz
was in the shelter.
helping. And so when you are doing that kind of work, and you see people not doing work, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to lead, though, to, Q becoming, he might be able to hold it. I hope he could be able to hold it. But I wonder if he's going to start to, inch up a little bit more if they continue to be lazy in that way, because he's not going to sit there.
But that's the hard part about what's about to happen next episode is the swap. Like they've built up this kind of tension between people not working and working. And it's kind of feels like we're about to just lose it all. That's the sad part of the swap. Yes, we get introduced to new interactions, and who knows if we get Coach and Ozzy on the same tribe, we'll get to see that interaction. But the thing that has been building is just kind of ends. And that is sad in my opinion that we don't get to see that play out a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, you all played on a season that had no swap. And so those relationships really did, in the case of Nami, like really festered over the whole time that you were together, where that maybe if there was this tribe swap, that maybe it would have been a different story. But the more time together really does create these very long-term storylines in the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we could have benefited from a swap. I also think we could have benefited from going. I said every time I talk about this, we could have benefited from going to tribal council. We might should have just thrown one just to have it, because going all the way through and not having the ability to have some of those cracks kind of flushed out before everybody else gets here was detrimental. So I think that you must go to a tribal council before the merge And I also think that a swap definitely would have helped 46 to shake things up because those relationships were not cemented, and it got worse once everybody got on the same beach.
But that's like from a player perspective. But we take it from a viewer perspective. Forcing these people to live together for so long is just creating like eventually it's going to explode, and that's what happens with Nami when we get to the merge. It's great TV because like why are these people turning on one another? Like why don't they like each other? Why are there's weird tension between Soda and Venez, or like why are we all voting each other? Why is Liz voting for Tevin? It's because you forced them to be together, and that pressure can't be released, and so it comes to a breaking point within the explosion just happens. And so I think as a player, I would have loved to have a swap or even have gone to tribal, because you could have let some of that pressure out, like let a little bit, so it's a little bit calmer. But as a viewer and as a producer, it actually is favorable to allow this explosion to happen when the chance comes, because I felt like as a group, I remember getting the merge and being like, why do I feel like everyone's going, like Nami's going after each other? It's like we haven't played, and all these people feel like they're so behind in the game. They haven't been able to make their moves. They haven't been able to prove themselves. They're just chomping at the bit. And the only targets they've had to look at this whole time were their own people. And so when you get there, it's like everyone wants to make a move. And it's great for a viewer. I mean, that's one of the reasons I think there was so much extra drama and excitement on 46, is because you had this group of people that were pretty volatile, that were stuck together for so long with no option.
I think also when we're learning to meet these people in a new player season for the first time, that swapping them is really confusing for the audience. There's 18 people. Who are these people? What are they doing? Now who's on what tribe? Where I think that when we already know who everybody is, I think you can swap a little bit faster and everybody will be able to follow what's going on. And it won't be so confusing for the viewers when we have a swap next week.
I feel like you have to. I feel like for 50, you would have to swap. I mean, I feel like the audience wants to see everybody interact. Like you don't want to keep everybody stringently attached to one tribe. You want to see Cirie go over there and talk to Coach or Stephanie and Cirie or Tiff get over there. Like you want to watch all of your faves and some people who may not be your faves yet interact and see if they will become your faves. So I think it's fascinating just to watch people that we've seen, as to Hunter's point, that we know canoodle with other people. Well, not canoodle, but
no canoodling, please.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
I don't know what they do.
I'd love to hear from each of you. Like, what's been the most interesting thing that you've been seeing so far? Hunter, what about for you through these 2 episodes? What's been living rent free in your head?
Well, I have. Christian is just, you forget how charming and fun that guy is.
Do you see yourself in him, Hunter? Do you see yourself in Christian?
That would be so vague for me to say that. Like, I don't feel like I could ever compare myself to Christian. He is such a cool character. Like, I love that his shirt has the robots on it that are 1, 2, 3 a binary. Like this is who he is. So often, I was talking to a student yesterday who said so often people like try to put on a nerdiness or try to put on a certain characterism. This guy is just that's who he is.
Yeah,
and it is so fun to see. I mean, the guy obviously messed his pants, but he's still delightful in it. Like
delightful.
How do you even have a confessional after that? That is so fun and interesting. And so he has been fun, and him and Rick Devin's interaction has been fun. I mean, they're just all the different characters that are just fun to watch interacting has been what's making it just easier and easier to watch this one.
Tevin, let me ask you this, okay? Tell me if you think this is a good call or not. Okay, I want to tell you that who Hunter is the combination of, okay?
Okay.
Dear.
And this is a really wild combination. I think that's what makes Hunter a really great player, is that Hunter is if Christian and Jonathan had a baby. What do you think? Yeah.
You gotta add somebody very, very, very devout Christian in there too. You gotta put a little sprinkle of the Lord in there, and then you'll have Hunter. But yeah, I can get down with that. He's a challenge beast. He's smart as hell. Hunter can get down and be cool or whatever. But when the brain gets going and he gets real nerdish, he's
like halfway between Christian and Jonathan is Hunter.
I don't know how that perception comes out. Like I feel like that is such an insult to Christian, but considering how how my journey ended. Like,
He doesn't
Christian, you're
understand. Hana never understand. Me and Hana hung out so many times, and I've just watched him. I've just kind of sat back and just watched him do his thing, or him talk to his students, or him building a challenge. He's like, "Oh yeah, well, the Pythagorean theorem will tell me that if I actually cut this right here, all I gotta do is cut this,
I do
put it here
love
together like
that.
this." I mean, you see that puzzle behind him? Do you see that puzzle in his background right now?
Mhm.
He built that because he just knows how to do it. I could not do that. I could draw it, but I can't build it. He goes in the little shop he has, and he just and he comes out and he's like, "Oh, I built a survival puzzle." I'm like, "Yeah, you built a survival puzzle. The hell?" And then you go out to his home, and then you see damn skyscraping puzzles, and he's like, "Oh, that's why you're Christian Ubicki. You may not be out there like being like, but like Hana is so brilliant, and I think his humbleness through that is what makes him such a great person, and also just yeah, you are him.
Well, that is very kind of you to say. I'm sure everyone listening is
That's the
like,
last
why
time
are
you
we
heard me say
saying
That's the last time you hear me say that, just so you know.
this? I wrote it down. I recorded it.
He gives Big Bang Theory to me. I want him to be on the Big Bang Theory. Now, I didn't know the Big Bang Theory was going to happen in his pants. I didn't know that was going to be the Big Bang.
That's right.
However, when I see him, he gives Big Bang to me. I mean, he's just so just authentically, lovingly nerdy, and it is beautiful to watch. He is probably one of my favorite characters on the whole thing because it's just so genuine. It's not forced. It's just him.
Okay. Tevin, what about for you? What's been something that has really been capturing your attention here? I know you have notes.
I do have notes. What's not on my notes that I feel is like what I love is kind of the which I saw people gonna be like, oh God, everybody's crying, but I really love the vulnerability of these people. Like I kind of love them, kind of reminiscing on things and watching people who society. I think I was trying to say societally, but society would maybe tell you, oh, they probably wouldn't cry, but like watching Q get emotional because Kyle has to be, evacuated. Watching Cirie cry because she's thinking about her time on the island, and watching Ozzy shed a tear. Like watching people be vulnerable is so nice because for me, and with all the news and the politics, which people know that I'm deep into, it's a lot of vitriol and stuff going on. And so when I watch people have empathy and I watch people feel, it's really nice for me to experience that in such a dark world right now. Just to watch people feel has been one of the most rewarding things for me watching so far.
Yeah, I think that Survivor exists in a space where that whatever differences are going on in the world, like it does exist. And I think it's the reason why it resonates with so many people, where that it sort of does occupy a space where it can bring more people together. And I'm sure there's, many different things that people have their differences about in and out of the world of Survivor, but it's supposed to be a thing for 90 minutes that really brings all of these people who love and are passionate about Survivor together. And I think that's Survivor 50 has been a great thing at this particular moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that has been, great to watch on like a, the feel good level. And then I just like the mess, I like some of the mess. I'm like, I'm sitting back like, my God, today, not Christian Ubicki got to rock Joe to sleep because he's talking too damn much.
Oh, dude, that's so funny.
Like, it's stuff like that is just, the game is both and. It's not this or, it's both and I think that's fascinating to watch these specific characters play.
Mm-hmm. The thing that had been the most interesting to me this week was Rick and Joe and just their difference of opinion. And I made a whole video about this where I really wanted to take a look at the way that these two men both approach the game so differently and what the issues are between them and why they can't get on the same page. And it's been so fun to look at this real difference of style of two people that we understand pretty well from Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what Joe's plan is. I'm having a hard time discerning what the plan is because you approaching people and calling them out as abrasively as he does it. I will go whisper to a damn snake. I know Rick Devin's whispering to Savannah right there was a little bit messy for me. He's right there. Mm-hmm. However, if I want to go whisper to a rock, I'll do so. Who are you, Joe, to tell me who I can and can't whisper to? If you have acknowledged that Rick Devin's whispering in front of you is a problem, So in turn, I don't understand why you would then go and do something as publicly as he's not yelling or scolding, but his demeanor and the way he does things gives. Oh, I need to clock you on this mistake. Yeah, I think a stronger choice would have been to course correct and to find the information out.
But dramatic pause.
Dramatic
We
pause.
didn't hear that last. We didn't hear that
Okay.
last thing you said, Tevin.
It was a dramatic pause. I love a dramatic pause. I do love a dramatic pause. But it simply is, I think that, a stronger choice would have been that he not scold them into telling him the information that he wanted to know, and rather try to get it another way instead of trying to be so. It's like Boston Rob. It's like he's trying to control the outcome of your game, but it's Survivor, and so people are going to talk. But how you choose to respond to Rick Devens whispering in front of you is the more important part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've been a little bit of I guess I'm a bit of a Joe defender here and again, Savannah, I talked to her and she said things were actually worse than what we saw in the episode. But from what we saw in the show, that he saw what was going on. He's like, hey, what was that about? And Rick was like, oh, it's nothing. And it was like an obvious lie. And Joe is on the bottom. He's like, oh, boy. Nothing. That was nothing. And then eventually Savannah tells him like, hey, no, Ozzy wanted to start an alliance with us. He's like, but why wouldn't he tell me that? I don't get it. And I felt like that Joe was really trying to understand why people were not telling him what was going on. I think more so than he was saying like, hey, like, and we did see him play this way in Survivor 48 of like, hey, that we're playing this game with honor and loyalty and integrity. But I just didn't see him say that in this season yet.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to take, first of all, improv class before you go play Survivor. You need to take at least one improv class. So when someone asks you a question, you can be like, oh, yeah, yes, and I did this. And I just think, yeah.
Hey, now don't be telling the next star of Tyler Perry's show how to act, Tevin.
Listen, yeah, he got it. He got it.
Yeah. He's good enough to act with Tyler Perry.
He got it, yes. Because, you know what? Hunter, you know what?
No, I do think I can see a little bit of the franticness in Joe after having seen what happened to him last season, where he was kind of almost made the butt of the joke and that he was taken advantage of. And this time he's recognizing it more. He's way more sensitive to it. He sees these two people whispering in front of him. He's like, I got to get to the bottom of this because I can't let it happen again. This is where people, and the bad thing is he's not wrong. Like he knows these people, like he has figured out these people don't actually want to work with me. Like he can see that Rick doesn't want to work with me. And so his read of it isn't entirely wrong. His approach wasn't great. And he was already in a bad spot to begin with. And it was kind of like grew from there. But you have to at least be like, okay, this guy's reading a little bit of it correctly. Rick didn't handle it super well, but the way Joe went about it was not the right way for the group of people he was playing with.
That's where I'm at.
It shows a fundamental difference between how Rick approaches a game and how Joe approaches the game as well. How they view it, Joe views it as an opportunity to prove that he can do things the correct way or ways that are. It's like when I introduce Survivor to people, they're always like, this is such a deceptive game. How could anyone lie? How would anyone, like, I would not feel good about that. But then when you realize, like, Rick has gotten to the point, it is inside of a game where you're allowed to do certain things. I use that exact same analogy of football when describing the game of Survivor. Like, I don't teach high school guys to go tackle people when they're walking down the street. Like, it's not a normal thing that you should do. This isn't a life skill that I'm teaching you to go and tackle people, to take advantage of them outside of the game of football. But in the game of football, I need you to be able to do that. And as a teammate, I need to know that you can do that. And so Rick explained it really well whenever he said, you're on our team and I need you to be able to do this, but his morals are holding him back from that. And so it's two guys approaching very differently that would have a hard time working together.
Yeah. So Hunter, I love that you brought the football analogy that Rick Devens brought up, where he said, like, if you're a pacifist, and you don't hit people, well, you're on my team. How are we supposed to work together? But I felt like that Joe is asking he's in the huddle and he's asking the quarterback, like, hey, what play are we running? And the quarterback is like, don't worry.
That is,
and Joe is like, but why won't you tell me what we're doing? Like, why won't you tell me this? And so that I think that in Rick's mind, he's using that team analogy, but Joe's like, I'm not feeling like I'm part of the team. You won't tell me what's going on.
Yeah, that is a really good point.
And I think if he would have done it the way that you just did it, I think I would have been more receptive to what he had to say, because now I feel like he's lost in the weeds, and I think that is inside of him. But what is expounded upon in his demeanor and his body posture is, oh, so y'all think y'all can just play the game? So you just not gonna tell me, even though I know that you know that I know what's going on, but you're not gonna tell me what's going on. It's giving I'm being scolded by the teacher again, and I don't want to feel that way because I am a grown person playing the game. And just because you have honor and integrity does not mean that I'm going to have that with you. So I think that his approach to it could have been tweaked and it probably would have worked out better. But now there's a little stain, and I don't know how he will get that off.
Yeah.
Because that's grease, and grease don't go nowhere. I don't know how you get grease out of a garment. I know you know how to tell the people.
There's particular detergents you'd want to use. Like there are ones that are more favorable for it, but that's not for today.
Thank you. Thank you. I just need to know.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, we haven't seen so much from Tiffany and Charlie on their tribe.
Yeah.
And it's been a little quiet, but quiet is good because it means that they're not in trouble, and who knows where they could end up after the swap. I guess let's start with Charlie, and how's he been doing so far?
He seems like he's getting along with the group really well. Again, you don't get to see him because they're in that place of winning, but you see, at least in the small clips you get, him interacting with everybody. He even mentions interacting with Chrissy and realizing that maybe I shouldn't be around Chrissy whenever they talk about she's being annoying and she's the one that's kind of aggravating everybody. And so you can see the typical Charlie play where he's going to like get to know everybody. That's what he did on our season. He was happy to talk with everybody. He was going to get his finger on the pulse to figure out who's in a good spot, who's not. And if they're not in a good spot, like it seems like Chrissy is getting to that point, he's going to distance himself from. But to kind of go back to what we said earlier, you see a little bit of that pressure building on this tribe with Chrissy's interaction. I mean, for them to have mentioned the Chrissy dilemma must have been bigger than we even saw, because it was such a small thing that we saw, but they must have all been talking about how Chrissy is driving us crazy. Because you're talking about on a episode where they don't even go to tribal, this was something that was brought up, and the fact that they're about to swap, it just felt kind of like a weird thing for them to bring up, knowing that the swap's going to happen, unless it was a pretty big deal for how annoyed the tribe was with her. But this is also a pretty new era tribe, and so you can see how maybe Chrissy's mannerisms weren't as enjoyed by the group.
Well, I definitely won't put nobody toe ring on my damn foot. I don't do feet that way. And when he stuck his right foot up in the air to let Coach put, that is nasty as hell. So, but that's what he got to do to get a little further. But what I also think is fascinating is the people who choose to come into the game and Jeff said, we brought you all back, all these different types of gameplay, and watching who is kind of sticking to what they do and who is deciding, oh, I'm a different version. Oh, I'm Coach 4.0. Oh, I'm Ozzy 2.0, like choosing to go a different path. Q is a little bit dialed down, and I wonder what Charlie's going to do. We haven't seen it yet, but if he goes under the radar, we know that's your game. We've seen that happen. We've seen you play that spot, and then you get to the end, and now we're like, oh my God, Charlie, yes, we got to. I don't know if he does that again, if he can slip by the way that he did, because he is a threat in that way. But is he going to make that change? I have no idea. Right now, it doesn't seem so I don't know how that's going to work out.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Charlie so far, because I think that he was somebody that a lot of people had their eye on in the beginning of the game and in the preseason from what they were saying, but he's been able to seemingly ride that out, and seems like he's in this tribe that in particular, he seems like he's in a really good spot, and I don't know where he would have to end up to not be in a good spot.
Yeah, and that's where like the swap is just so random. Like who knows what's going to happen. He has done a good job, apparently, like making connections. You see him with Mike White, you see him hanging out with like different ones at different times, and so you're like, okay, he's obviously at least have some relationship with these people, but it's about to all break, and so you kind of wonder, was it all for naught? We didn't even get to see this growth and interaction, so who knows what'll
And Tiff
come.
looks good, I think Tiff. I'm rooting for Tiff. That's my girl, and so I am interested to see how her game unfolds, and I am loving her interactions. I mean, she's a physical beast, as we're seeing. She's strategic, as we know, and she's linked up with D, and so I think that there are I want to see more of Tiff. Is what I want. That's what I want. But I think
but not too much, because look, if you get 0 confessionals for an episode, that means you're not going home, right? So that means that you are not the one that went home that episode. So we'll take that. We'll take that.
Tiff, we good.
Okay,
so we good.
We haven't seen either of them yet interact with you in this season. I know the swap is coming up, and I know the tribes are out there, but I don't like to look at it. I like to be surprised on a Wednesday night. But if either of them ends up with Q, how do you think that that's going to go?
If Charlie is with Q, it's gonna be all right. Q gonna do his thing. If Tiff is with Q,
Wait, I feel like the opposite.
Okay.
I feel like Charlie and Q, I think Charlie would probably try to distance himself from Q, just because I think Tiffany and Q would have a closer interaction and work together, but I don't know. Maybe I misread that, but I think Tiffany would be fine with working with Q. I think Charlie would be a little more wary. And there's something about it's like right now, Charlie and Tiffany, of course they've won, are able to kind of be under the radar, because it's like no one's really thinking about 46, but it's like when you get paired with Q, a lot of attention just gets brought to the idea that they were both on 46. And who knows, you introduce someone else from 46 that Q is comfortable with and familiar with, how he then starts to play. Because once that man begins to feel like he has some control or power, but I guess Tevin says it's up and stuck. Like he may go, like if he begins to feel comfortable, you better be careful, because that man will do some stuff. Who knows? I can't even tell you. It's unpredictable. But I think
go ahead, Anna.
I think with Charlie, I think there is a little more tension there. I think Charlie would be a little more wary of Q. I thought Tiffany might maybe settle down and be like, okay, we know our differences. We can handle it. But who knows?
I mean, I think Tiff is a great player, and so I think that she would make that adjustment. But I'm also thinking of it in the respect of everybody's coming to this game with baggage from somewhere. They all have talked about, the histories and the things that they have. That's what this coaching and Ozzy, thing is. And so we know from 46, the last time that Tiff and Q were together, it was volatile, and that there may be some pending doom kind of inside from the choices that were made in the game, and how does that play out? And I don't. Q and Charlie didn't. I mean, there was some confusion, like tribal council wise, but I think that Tiff and Q have much more history, gameplay wise. And so, how do you trust someone you couldn't trust last time you played, and how do you get over that hurdle?
I guess for me, when I look at it, in the Q and Tiffany relationship, Tiffany is the one that was burned, and I think Tiffany can be more forgiving and be like, okay, we're gonna get past this. But in the Charlie and Q was the one that was burned, and I don't know that Q burned is necessarily like a favorable thing. So that's where I'm like, Tiffany can be like, okay, look, we'll put aside our differences. Q, I don't know. We'll see. Not that he's been doing a great job, but I think that's the difference.
Yeah, I think I come down more on the Hunter side of things, where I feel like that Q and Tiffany, it's like a brother-sister relationship. They have so much shared experience. It's like, oh, this guy gets on my nerves, but it's, but that's family. And I feel like that Q and Charlie, Q might be the person who is more likely to remind people like, hey, don't forget about Charlie. And I think that Charlie has done a good job of making people feel comfortable with him. I think that Q, I could see reminding people like, but Charlie is sneaky. But I got to remember, don't forget about him. And I think he could shine a light on Charlie in a way Charlie doesn't necessarily want.
Yeah, I think Q would throw Charlie under the bus before he would throw Tiffany under the bus again. Like, I don't think he would do it twice. I don't think, but I guess we'll find out.
Tevin, I remember from your preseason interviews for Survivor, you talked about how Cirie Fields was communicating with you in ways that were nonverbal.
Listen, first of all, Black people can have a whole conversation. Right? Hunter is trained now, so me and Hunter can have a Black conversation now. I've given him this because he understands. I can look at him and be like, got it. I'm like, right, because he's been around me so much. But, I love Cirie, and I think that Cirie is giving a masterclass, as always, in how to play this game socially. I love her story about getting up off the couch and, going to play this game. She feels like auntie to me. I feel like me and her can have we can have a whole conversation. We never, we haven't seen each other, but I understand what she's saying. And so when she sat down, for instance, and tried to talk to him, be like, yeah, so let's talk about this. So we got Ozzy, we got this one. I already knew what she was doing. I could see behind her eyes. Like I already knew what her inner monologue was because I could understand her in a way that I may not understand Angelino. You know what I'm saying? But I understand Cirie and her gameplay. And what's so fascinating is that, especially on a season 50, where everybody wanted to go back, everybody wants to be there. So you know what's going to be there is ego. And so how do you play a game with people who have this ego and use that to your advantage? Well, what you do, which was so masterful, is that you make them feel like they're the ones that have the power when you told them exactly what to do without them knowing. And so her sitting down and saying, yeah, well, Ozzy's this, but yeah, Savannah, I said, yeah, but Savannah, what do you think of? And I don't need you to, I don't need the credit for it right now, but just know that when you choose this, I told you to do so. I think her after that might have been a little bit of a misstep because she was so good being like, hey, what do y'all think? But she had given them everything they needed to make the decision, and then it was about to go back. But then it played out beautifully as it should. But I love her. I think she's a masterclass in how to be a social. I can't think of the word I want to say, but being a social beast.
Yeah, and she is great at working with what you're given. Like, she is very aware of her position, and it's incredible. She knows she's not driving votes, but she can bump the boat and make it go a little different direction. Her first episode, she knew she was in a bad spot, and so she knew how to let off the gas and say, look, I need you to do this for me. I need Ozzy to go for me. It's pretty incredible, just her awareness, and then not just awareness, knowing what to do in those moments. And that couch was mentioned so many times in the first episode, I thought I was going to get a confessional.
Can I see the couch? Can y'all just do a quick shot to the couch? I would like to see the couch, please.
That should be a reward.
Cirie's couch. One day on Cirie's couch.
Cirie should get like an endorsement from IKEA or something.
No.
Girl, please, I would like to buy a Cirie Fields couch. Help me get off.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Cirie Fields. I got up off the couch, but when I get back on the couch,
this is what I want.
Yeah. This is what I need.
I don't always.
Really good. Now, I want
Bob's Discount Furniture.
I don't always sit on a couch, but when I do, it's like this one. It's hilarious.
Yes, I got up off the couch, but you don't have to. Buy a couch. I mean, yes, we would like 10%. Cirie, if you do this, that is 30%, 1, 2, 3 for us. Thanks.
Perfect. Yeah. Cirie, if your people are listening, tell us about it. The encore episodes, which came on right before Survivor 50, included Hide and Seek, where Tevin, your boot episode was re-aired to a national audience. Were you happy, or was this reopening a trauma for you?
Oh, trust and believe, I don't have trauma with it at all. I went home and ate very well that night. I ate very, very well. I don't have trauma with it because the whole thing about it for me is that I went out there to have an experience for myself. And so what I'm seeing on season 50, people say, I think Rizzo said it too, like, I want to cement my legacy and I want to be a legend. Like, I think a lot of people go out there and want to become great. But I went out there with the necessity to play the best that I could, also with the knowledge that I had never been in a space like this before. I grew up very poor. I didn't grow up with opportunity. And so I have never left the country before. I got my passport specifically to go play Survivor. So if I would have got voted out day one, I already had won the game. So there's no trauma attached to it at all. What I did see, because she tagged me in it, Liz commented under one of these posts, because I only see politics. I don't see nothing Survivor at no point. But Liz commented, and she was like, I'm so sorry, T. I was wrong. You were the only one making sense. So I think she went back and listened to that chaotic talking that we were doing before we voted. And I mean, it wasn't trauma, but it just was like, damn, like, it just was too much going on. And like I said, Q, I'm not going to hold your hand. If you want to go, get up and go. Get up and go. Hunter, oh my word. Hunter was just was too dumb.
I got trauma from it. I do. Tevin may not have it, but I do.
I was good. I thought for sure I was going to be the first person gone because I know me. I know the spaces that I've been in. I know the kind of charisma that I have. I already knew that I was going to be a target socially to begin with. And so once I made it past first, I was like, I could make it several. I might make it several spots in now. And
Yeah, to 7.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, I might make several spots, and I made it further than several.
Yeah. Hunter, why did that episode bring back trauma for you?
Well, it's not like it was fun. I actually wasn't able to watch it, but I was getting lots of texts from people watching it. It's one of those moments, and this is where it's fun to sit here and get to talk about it. And I've begun to relearn the fun of like talking about what I would do in that situation. But in the moment, it's always so hard to tell when you're missing some of the pieces. They didn't have to do a rerun of that episode. I've replayed it so many times in my head. In my head, it has alternate endings, and I promise the alternate endings are way more fun than the one that we saw, at least from my opinion. And so it just kind of brings it back up. And you almost feel, I know Tevin's like, I went out there to do this, and I got what I wanted from it. I was trying to win that thing, okay? And
of course.
I knew there were so many things I could have done differently. Because I mean we had so little time, and then you lay in bed at night afterwards, and you're like, oh, I could have done this, we could have done this, man, this would have been great, this would have been awesome if we would have done this, if I would have. And so, and then it's over, and like no chance to retain it, and they bring it back up, you're like, oh no, now the world's gonna see that I did not do XYZ that I could have done. And so it is tough there. And so even whenever we rewatch these episodes now, it's like with a grain of salt. Like I understand that these people, like Joe's interaction and the way he reacted, I can't fault him completely. I may say it wasn't the best idea or the best way of handling it. Because
Hunter,
now
was there something specific that you would have done differently at that tribal?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, here, let me just reset it so the hide and seek. It was a great episode. It was really fun for me to go back and rewatch. There's so much in there.
Yeah.
Q does the Q skirt. They play hide and seek.
Yeah.
There's just a lot going on there, and ultimately that Q is going to ask Jeff that if he could leave at tribal council. Ultimately, it ends up where Tevin goes home. The people at tribal council don't vote Q out, even though he says vote him out. So, Hunter, what would you have done differently?
So Q would have worked with us if I would have asked him to vote anybody other than Tiffany, because Tiffany was gone. But what I would have done is I would have told Tevin, I have an idol. Don't say anything about it. I'm bringing it up right before Jeff says it's time to vote. And I'm going to say, no, Jeff, we're not going to vote now. Me, Tevin, and Tevin's extra vote and one other person in this group are voting for one of y'all randomly. One of you 4 are getting, or one of you, I guess at that point it would have been, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because there was 10 of us. There were 6 of them in the other group. One of you is getting 4 votes. And y'all can continue to try to vote for Tevin right now. But if you do, just know those votes are canceled out, and one of you random 4 people are going home. And I also probably would have said some very straightforward things to Liz, because I was so frustrated with Liz in that moment. Because this is not healthy. I don't know if this is like the kind of counseling we need, but I was so frustrated.
This is the therapy
with Liz.
carousel.
This is it. Yeah, I was so frustrated with Liz because the rest of the season, Liz is so like always talks about how she didn't eat, and you know who the person who was most concerned with like Liz's eating was Tevin. Like Tevin, and every morning would like get up and like take the crab and like try to go catch Liz food. And then when she like had all these episodes about not eating, I was like, it's because you voted on the person who wanted food. Anyways, I probably would have been really not nice to her in that moment. So it's probably best that I didn't. But that's what I would have done. And I don't even think I would have had to play my idol for Tevin. I think I could have held on to it and still had my idol. We probably would still use our 3 votes between the 2 of us. And then Q, I think, would have voted for us. And I don't think Charlie or Maria would let it just go up to chance. Like, I don't think they would be fine with saying, if he does, one of us could easily go home. And so what likely would have happened is they would have voted Q out. I would have guessed everyone would have jumped on Q because would have had no protection.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have been a much better way of saving Tevin and still keeping my idol and mixing it up a little bit.
Well, Hunter, I want to make sure that we're giving you plenty of grace here, because is this the perfect plan that you've thought of since that time, or were you contemplating it that day?
Oh, no. So in the moment, that day, that was not on it. So don't think
you couldn't have done anything different.
Yeah. Well,
you could play the idol for Tevin.
I could have played the idol for Tevin. But in that moment, it was. We're talking about season 50. I don't want to be like rehashing all this stuff, but
but I get it. Like sometimes you come up with the like, oh, you know what I should have done, and it's like months and months later.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, you have all of this stuff that you're
you
like,
have unlimited time. You'll come up with a perfect answer.
I've replayed it plenty of times in my head.
But you got to do what you got to do in that moment. So to Hunter's point, we went out there to win. I definitely wanted to win the game, but If you don't, I'm glass half full. So I didn't. But what did I get from it, and what did I win? What did I win from it? And I think every person can take something away, regardless of where you go.
Yeah. Now, season 46 was also known for people going home with, not to open a sore subject,
Please don't.
going home with idols or advantages in their pocket when they get voted out of the game. Now, I guess this must have been very top of mind for Billie Eilish, who decided to base a whole immunity idol around the idea of, here's the idol, send it to somebody, and if they get voted out with it in their pocket, it comes back to you. Do you think Billie Eilish was inspired by Survivor 46?
It's sure. Why not? Like, gas ourselves up. Yes, absolutely. I'm sure she loved every moment of it.
Yeah, I didn't know she was a fan like this. I just saw her I went to the Beloved Community Awards, and she was there accepting her, award there. But she ain't said nothing about no, I don't know. But I think it's interesting. I mean, I think it's kind of like, it could. I think it kind of makes it more dangerous for the person sending it, because I think once the word gets out that this thing exists, it's kind of like, well, you can say, well, I sent this person this whatever, but I think once people discover that you did that, it kind of makes you a strategic player depending on how you use it. And so I'm interested to see how they're gonna use it to their advantage or not. Are you gonna use it and hope that they work with you, or are you gonna use it hoping they get voted out with it, and then having to discern as a player that is watching you have done that? If you find out, I guess, I don't know. I think it's just fascinating. I don't know how I feel about it yet.
What's the optimal way to handle the Billie Eilish boomerang idol?
Well, okay, I'm going to take it back for like a gameplay look at this. I'm not sure I'm a fan of it on a returning season, because I know they want to limit pre-gaming as much as possible, but they've introduced a mechanic that actually favors people who did pre-game, because if I never pre-gamed with anybody and I'm on an island of people who have pre-gamed and made connections, this idol may be the only thing that I have to help me. And I get it, and it does nothing for someone who hasn't pre-gamed, someone who doesn't have connections. Like Genevieve is, interestingly enough, one of the few people that have no other people from a season that they've played with. And so unless she has actually done pre-gaming, she really has no connections of people to send it to. And so we see it played out where she's like, I don't know. She sent it to Ozzy. It seems like a super random pig, because she doesn't know who to send it to. She doesn't have anybody to send it to. And so I do think it is unfavorable to the person who doesn't pregame. That being said, how would I play it? One, I'd be like, well, this is no help. Like, this is useless. It's a fun ploy. I think it is so hard to send it to somebody knowing who's on the bottom. And if they are on the bottom, would they not play an idol? Like that would be so hard to predict without it being like in a merge situation where you have some control of it. Because it's really just a shot in the dark. And so I think, in my opinion, is it can help someone. And Rob, do you think you could pick out someone who's going to go home with an idol on another tribe?
No, I don't think you could. I think the only way to handle it is to try to find somebody who do I want to work with. And I think that's an interesting point you make about the pre-gaming that I hadn't even really been thinking of, that it does favor. Okay, who did I talk to before I went? Other than like, who's the person I would like to hypothetically work with? I think it's probably going to go to people who maybe did have some type of connection. I think that you could sort of lean on, well, who got voted out with an idol in their past season?
Yeah.
But I think that person might be
more prone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like, they mentioned Tiffany. I would probably be a great candidate if I was on it. There is no way. Like, there is a different level of like extra what have I done when you get voted out the idol, because there was always that more that you could have done. So there's that extra little bit of trauma to remember, like, I ain't letting this happen again. First chance I get, I'm playing this thing, because it does fog your brain a little bit in terms of the strategy that you're trying to implement. You never have to go all out with one strategy, because you always have this backup plan. I think it hurts people.
Well, that's so interesting when we reincorporate Joe back into this, where that the players who came back for season 50 are saying like, well, I'm not gonna lose the same way I lost last time. Yeah. And Joe's like, well, I'm not gonna let anybody have a secret alliance that I'm not gonna know about this time. I think the people who went out with an idol probably are more like, if they get an idol, they're playing it anytime.
I think where they could change it a little bit is what they've done in the past where you can level up idols. I think they could have done that and say, hey, it only is going to work for 2 tribals. Or if you send it to someone and it comes back, as soon as someone is a normal idol, if it comes back to you and you're right, it's like one of those super immunity idols to where you can play after the boats. Because I would be so surprised if it actually gets in someone's hands and makes it back to that person. Like, what are the odds of that happening?
I will say that Christian sent it to Aubrey, who I do believe did get voted out with an idol in Survivor Edge of Extinction.
Was that because he thought she was going to be voted out with it, or because
I don't know if that was a factor, but I do believe that Aubrey had an idol in the Edge of Extinction when she gets voted out, and she gets voted out in the pre-merge by Victoria and I forget who else was there. I think that like Gavin and maybe Eric. I think Aubrey did, but I don't think that was Christian's reasoning.
Yeah, I think Christian
they did it a little confusing to me because the last confessional that he had before we transitioned to her was him saying, "Oh, I have another plan. I could do it like this in a more nefarious way." Then he cuts to her. Then he cuts back to him saying Godspeed or whatever he said. So it kind of felt both nefarious and, like lending a hand to a friend. So I don't exactly know how it's going to play out. I don't know what his intention was.
Tell me a little bit about what you thought about Savannah coming back. Did she have a shot in this season?
Wouldn't have told nobody. I mean, you run the risk of Rizzo telling it, I guess, but you have the advantage of nobody knowing who the hell you are or how well you did. You could have just been a fascinating character. I mean, you could be back for any reason, but I would not have said that I won. There's other winners there that you can push that can go before you, like D, to push those people. But I would not have said that. So as soon as she said it, I said, "Yeah, you're done." I knew it last episode that it was over because nobody wants to play with and you just played, so they feel less bad to vote you out because you just played. They don't have the emotional impact. Like, you just played, girl. Like, we ain't played since season 1.
Well, they didn't have trouble voting Jenna out, and Jenna, and she had she hadn't played for a while, so I don't think that is even on the table for these players. Like, we don't care if you haven't played in 25 years, presenting you.
We don't care.
Yeah. I think that with the thing that was uniting both Jenna and Savannah, though, was like, we don't really know her. I think that was like the one thing that the both of them shared. I don't think it was so much that she won, and obviously Jenna didn't win, but I think it was like, like, she seems nice, but we don't really know her like that. She doesn't have a lot of friends. I think it's just an easy target.
I think Savannah's play, if you come into a season like this, the hard part I don't think, is that she won. It's the unknown. And so as tribe mates, I have to figure out, why is this girl selected for season 50? And there's 2 reasons. You're a character or you're really good at the game. And Rizzo has an advantage in that it is very obvious he is a character. Like, everyone knows this kid is a goober. And so they probably don't think he's just like a mastermind. Right?
Riz Goober?
Riz Goober. Here we go. That's hilarious. Okay, maybe. But they look at him and, like Colby has said, like, this kid is a character. And so I think most people are alleviated from the idea of this guy's, he's going to backstab, he's going to be very creative, like malicious and things like that. While Savannah has a much more poise, she's talking strategy to people. And so anyone who looks at this will say, Savannah is good at this game, whether she won or not. Even if she said, I made Final 4 and they voted me out, or they did fire. In my head, this girl is good at the game because they don't just pull people in who are mediocre at strategy unless they're a big character. If Savannah would have come in and just act like a complete goofball and just like off the wall, she probably could have sold that I was on season 49 and I'm here because of the funny antics.
The character. That's exactly how I feel.
But it's hard to say that when you win. And her and Rizzo both, like, they talk about talking to each other before going on 50. They could have come up with like hey, let's just lie about what we did. Like, and I think they would be willing to work together on 50, especially since they would be at such a disadvantage. And so if she said, hey, I came in 7th, but obviously I'm a big character, she probably could have gone further. But again,
that's what I would.
She had 2 weeks. She had 2 weeks to try to figure that out, and that's hard.
Yeah. So I would say that to give just some of my own personal history with this, where I came back for, I don't know if this is ancient history for you guys.
Thank you,
This is a
Ancient.
history, teaching history class today, Hunter. So I came back for Survivor All Stars, and while it was not right the season before, but it was a couple of months before season 8 air or filmed, was the finale of season 6. The winner of my season was Jenna Maraska. She was on Survivor All Stars, and so was I. And so in some ways, it was pretty parallel to Savannah and Rizzo coming back. And I know that I certainly felt like, okay, well, she won that season, but this time it's my time. That I'm going to be the winner of this season. And so I think that Rizzo probably would not have been shy about telling people, like, yeah, well, you know, they brought us both back, but she was the winner, you know. Should like make a bigger target on her back, I would think. And I know that I certainly felt like in season, I wasn't targeting Jenna Maraska, but like I felt like, and they knew, obviously they had seen this, so it's not a 1-to-1. But I did feel like, okay, well, this time I deserve it. You know, she got it last time, but this time it's my time.
Yeah. I mean, it would be hard. And Savannah's in a really hard spot because she's obviously, like, from the outward looking at it, she's a savvy player. And no, you're talking about Cirie not picking up on that you're like pretty savvy. And Cirie said it. I would rather play with somebody that I know than someone that I don't. And I think that was the end all for Cirie deciding I'd rather Savannah go home than Joe. I'd rather have Joe around because I know exactly what he's going to be like. I don't know this Savannah girl.
Yeah,
right. Which is why you need to, you know, it's kind of like when I, you know, when I go on stage and, you know, I have to, you know, do a character. The first couple seconds you walk on stage sets the tone for who this person is about to be. And so that is the most important part of any play, is that first moment you step on stage. Who are you and how am I supposed to feel about you? And so her entry into the game, to Hunter's point, and is, you know, coming in and making, which might have been, it's probably difficult to, if you, that's not in you, to make, you know, a character of some sort. But I think not stating I won and rather, you know, delineating yourself or you know, removing yourself from that, and making yourself somebody else that can throw them off of that scent. And Rizzo might have said it. Sure, he might have said, well, you know, she won. But Rizzo, you also know Rizzo. Like, Savannah, you know him. And so spin that back on him. I mean, he's a character. He's a character himself. Like, make it seem like he's lying, but then that might just show, I don't know how that would play out. I don't know. I think it was tough for her.
So you both went on journeys. I asked Savannah about going on the journey because I feel like that was the biggest thing that went against her, was she went on the journey and then people were like, well, and also she probably has something now. We don't really buy her story. But she said that she felt like that she was in such a bad position that it was almost like a Hail Mary for her to go on the journey at that spot. Do you think that was the right call to go on the journey?
If she understood that she was on the bottom and that was it,
yeah,
maybe so. But did it? Okay, I mean, she came back and said she got nothing, right?
She said that she just did not lose her vote. She said, she
just got her vote back.
She got her vote
back. I would have made up a different lie about that.
Yeah. Why not lie and say that you got an advantage that's like going to save you? Like, I mean, because they know that that one's a lie. But again, she's the one in the moment. Yeah. She has won, which none of us have done before. And so maybe she knows more than us in that situation. But it is hard to go on those journeys where people know that you're going to get something and then.
But she almost didn't, you know, I mean, it was true that she did think that, oh, I'm not going to get anything. I just got my vote back. It wasn't to that last second that she then, you know, learned she got something. But what I would have done is got back, because whether or not that were to be true and she didn't get anything, no tribe is going to believe you got nothing when you came back. And the other thing that I've seen players do is that they think that being nonchalant is going to save their credibility. And so she, unless it was edited this way, but this is just what I saw, so I'm taking it with a grain of salt, but they showed her walking away and going to lay on the beach. You never leave these people alone to talk about you, especially after a moment like that. I'm going to sit right here. I'm going to control the narrative, because if I control the narrative, I get to make sure that you aren't breaking apart my story, and at least do that long enough so something else can happen. Something happens and now the focus is off of me. But walking away and saying that, and acting like, oh yeah, nothing happened, is actually more indicative of you lying than if you would have stayed there. I think I would have lied and said, you know, I got an advantage that serves the tribe. Like, we can hurt another tribe. I got to send something. I got to send something over there to hurt someone or give
A
someone this.
swarm of bees.
You know,
See, I get to send a swarm of bees like in Hunger Games.
Not a swarm of bees. I've sent the plague over
What
there.
are you sending over there? Like, I'm trying to imagine, like, I get to drop a skunk off at their camp.
I don't know. I got to send somebody. I don't know. I got to send somebody to Exile Island, girl. Anything. I would have made anything up. But what you cannot say is I got nothing.
But what's funny is that her story that she tells them is the same story that Colby's going to tell his tribe, because he doesn't think she got anything. And so she could get away with not having, like, not anyone knowing if they believed it, but it's really hard. That's like a game design that's tough for them.
He will say, you know, I lost my vote.
And she didn't get anything.
A negative is more believable than a nothing positive.
Yeah.
You just got your vote back. It doesn't sound real, but I lost my vote. You wouldn't make that up.
And you believe Colby, I think, whatever he's telling you.
Yeah. I just mean, like, long term, when they get to emerge, Colby's not going to know that she has something.
No, I get it. I don't know about you guys now, but I would never get on one of these boats to go on the journey. And I think that the thing that really, I sort of changed my opinion after your season, because I really thought that Q's strong six, and I know that you all scoff at it, like, that was never a thing, that was never going to work. I do feel like that was a interesting idea. So the only reason I would ever want to go and get on the boat is to make some kind of relationship with the other people who go. But it's such a negative when you come back. And what you get, like, Savannah was in a bad spot, so she went on the journey to try to see if she could change the dynamics. But you get an extra vote, maybe a block of vote. Like, it's not, you don't get 5 votes. So if you're in a bad spot, I think that going on the journey is like is not so great. I think that if you're maybe in the power player on your tribe, maybe you go there to keep somebody else from getting something. But I think if you're in a not so great spot, I would never get on the boat.
Yeah, that was kind of the situation with whenever I went. We were in a good spot that we wanted me to go because we didn't want anybody else to have a chance to get something. And so Tevin and Liz and I think Soda was in on it. Like, we were like trying to worry about Venus getting something, and so we're like, we'll just let Hunter go. Was it a good idea? I don't know. And it's fine whenever you're kind of in a good spot. I think later in the game, like, that was really close to the merge. It was fine for me to go because we had wiggle room to play with. I have no idea what my advantage would have been. Like, it seems like knowledge is power would have fit there, but I did not have the knowledge to get the power, so we were in trouble.
I think leaving with at least a relationship is important if you don't get the thing. But I think, you know, to your point, Rob, it's detrimental. But even for, you know, I talked about this with you actually when you interviewed me after my boot episode, and I told you, like, one of the things that I did when I went with, which they did not show it, which is fine, but when I went with Jelinski and Maria to my journey, one of the things that I said was, you know, well, if, you know, Maria, if you choose me, you know, and Jelinski, if you just kind of give this up, what we can do is we can be a 3 when we make it to the merge. I would like to, you know, have this door open. And then in the shot, you can see us cross our hands and say, let's shake on it. And then we shake it. There was no reason for us to shake because we made no agreement. But that cut was from me saying, let's just say that we'll be a 3. Yeah. And so that's something I wanted to take out. And that's why me and Maria kind of became close throughout the game.
And then she voted him out.
Correct.
Which is what I was
saying. I am the only person in the 6 that did not vote for another person in the 6.
We were going to vote for Tiffany, though.
I did not. What?
We were going to vote for Tiffany, though.
No. I didn't write her name down. Excuse me.
We were going to.
Okay. I have something that's a very random Survivor 46 connection that I thought of this week, and I'm so happy that I can share it with you guys. So we have, of course, in this season that we have Aubrey on the tribe with Q. And remember when poor Mariah said to Q about her favorite player was Aubrey? Yeah. And Q did not like that her favorite player was Aubrey. That was a big mistake. Don't do that. And so I was thinking back to that you all had this challenge in Survivor 46, if I recall. And what was the issue going into this challenge that we saw in the reward challenge? Reward challenge, Mariah's big concern was, guys, I don't know how to jump. I can't jump.
That's right.
And who was the one person who missed hitting the key with the club
She's
this
more
week.
like Aubrey than we even realized.
That's funny. What season is it that someone kept doing? They kept going over and over and over again, and they couldn't
I
get
think
it.
it was Adam in Winners at War. I think was really was struggling on this, right?
Yeah, just kept going back to back, and he was getting so exhausted. He kept trying to get it, trying to get it.
Mhm.
That's a really funny connection, actually, and that's hilarious. You should get
Aubrey
extra points
can't
for
jump.
that. Aubrey cannot jump. She got it the second time, so I'm proud of her.
I think
would've loved
Mariah
that
didn't
shot.
even have a problem. I think that she was like more
Yeah.
of like a story beat for Mariah that she was gonna, guys, I can't do this, and she did it. But Aubrey
we
really did
ended up
struggle.
not even having to jump and hit anything. We just had to jump off of something. At
Yeah.
that point, you can just
Yeah.
fall.
Just fall in the damn water. I would have loved personally in that challenge to see Cirie have
Well,
to go
Tevin, I
across the
thought
balance.
Cirie dodged a bullet where she's like, yeah, I'm not getting on a balance beam.
But I wanted it for the growth. I wanted it for the
Yeah.
arc because there was
She
such
said,
a
"I've
big
already
moment
grown.
to watch
I've
her
already
trying to get
grown."
across it. So I would have loved to see her, scale it and be like, listen, I did it. I did it. But I understand that's like,
Yeah,
I'm
can
good.
I ask you all, because I know we have 24 people in this season, so maybe we're doing things differently, but typically, does everybody have to start on the top and then go across the balance beam? Did they make it so only 4 people had to do it this season? Is that atypical?
Well, how many people had to sit out? I guess only one from each.
Only Camilla sat out. But there were 4 people that did the jumping off the thing. And so it seemed like that there were 3 people that didn't even have to do the balance beam.
It's atypical. But I think for time's sake, it's probably like a logistics reason. Like I
Mhm.
don't know. I guess they could have cut it however they wanted to. So I don't know why they didn't. But having that many people go would have taken significantly more time in the day. So that is atypical.
Okay. Let me bring in some questions for you all from the listeners. And so Dave No East says, as a good narrator of events himself, who does Tevin think is the best narrator on season 50?
I mean, I like Coach. I think he's poetic. He has heightened text.
Is he a reliable narrator?
You said what?
Is he a reliable narrator?
I think so. I think that he still has honor and integrity. I think that he's starting to, he wants to be a little bit more nefarious with his gameplay now. He wants to, slip and slide. But I think out of everybody there, he's probably the most reliable one. I think there's some people who want to be, the narrator, but who gives it to me the best is Coach.
I think he's pretty reliable, right? He's especially reliable from his point of view.
He's reliable, yeah, and he's uplifting. He gives good. If anybody that can evoke Magellan and Martin Luther King is, you know what I'm saying? He has range.
He did trip over a couple of his quotes. I think the adversary and the enemy is today, and that one was interesting. But I think
his leg became his adversary when he cramped up in the water. I said,
right.
Now you didn't know you were talking about yourself when you was talking about your enemies, your adversary tomorrow. That was you. Your leg did that to you.
Yeah. I think he's pretty reliable for his point of view. Like I don't think he's trying to be deceitful. I don't know, but he's lied on. I can't see the difference in where he's saying, "I'm trying to be honorable," in that he's trying to play the game without being extra lying. Like Ozzy is saying he lied whenever he said that he was going to give me this thing, but Coach didn't lie. Like Coach never agreed to it. And so I think he is trying to fight back on that, but I don't know that he's saying that I'm not going to lie to people in this game.
And he needed to clear that up. He said, I know y'all crying about Kyle, but let me go ahead and clear this up. Ozzy, excuse me. Let me gather you up. He was very burdened in his spirit about that. Excuse me. Kyle, yeah. I'm playing with dignity. Thank you. Thank you. I said, damn.
Okay. Ben Gregory wants to know, who would you personally want to spend a night on Exile Island with from season 50?
I don't want to spend a night with nobody.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend a night with nobody on Exile.
I think, well, obviously Christian is a good one because the dude made fire from the glasses.
Yeah, but he can't from the moon.
Do what?
He can't make fire from the moonlight.
But you don't start at night, right?
Yeah.
You start during the day, so hopefully you have a chance there. I think I would have a good time with Christian because I think I would match his energy pretty well. And he just seems like a lot of fun. I mean, Tiffany, because I'm friends with Tiffany. Jonathan seems like he can catch food. So those are like from like a logistical standpoint would be fun. But I am just interested in getting to meet Christian. I think he's just a fun guy.
Okay, you've never met Christian before. What would you talk about when you met up with Christian?
I would just hear what he has to talk about. I think he's got so much information on different things. He just
Mhm.
seems like such a fun person to talk with. Did you see Jeff's like live before the thing where he like
Yes.
went over and was talking to Christian? And he's like, I'm not gonna give you the mic, Christian. And Christian kept trying to take the mic from him, but he's like,
I
no,
didn't
that's
see
like
that part.
it was funny.
Did you see
Funny little
when Jeff
interaction.
downed Tiffany's wine?
Yeah. Yeah, he was
I
very
see none of
loose.
this.
He was very loose. I was
Mhm.
like, this is
Yeah.
something.
And also in that, Q decided to wrestle, against Jonathan.
I don't know what he was saying.
What?
Yeah.
Like, Q, challenge him to a race. Challenge him to something, not like a physical, like we're going to push each other.
No,
Wrestling has a
no.
weight.
How you gonna fight the Incredible Hulk? He gets stronger the matter he gets. How the hell you gonna fight against damn Thanos with all Infinity Stones? You out of your damn mind. You is crazy as hell. What's
Tevin,
that thing from Fantastic Four, the rock
A
thing?
thing.
Oh, his name is Thing? Yeah, how you gonna fight Thing? The hell?
Who do you think won, Tevin?
I know on Q. I know
Q
it
held
wasn't
his own
Q.
for a minute
How you gonna
before
fight against
Jonathan.
somebody with all Infinity Stones?
Yeah.
Jonathan is a prehistoric mammal. So, he is something else.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't go great. Okay.
Yeah, I bet it didn't.
All right. Then Lydia Martin wants to know who on season 50 would be the best at hide and seek.
Oh,
Oh, man,
Who?
I got to go through the list.
I know. I'm thinking through all the people. I'm like, who would be the best? Who would be? I don't even know. Well, no, probably Ozzy, because Ozzy would scale a tree like Hunter did. Ozzy's probably the best one. Ozzy still got it. I didn't know if he was gonna come back and have it,
Yeah.
but he still got it. So he would probably scale a tree and somewhere, and you wouldn't find him.
Ozzy would probably be really into it. That's a good point. You have to think of like who would be good at it and who would care enough. Like Mike White would be like, I'm not hiding. I'm not.
Mike got a damn near 8-pack though,
He
so he
does.
might scale
Yeah.
a tree.
He said, I did not get this 8-pack to
Yeah,
hide. I've
to
got
hide.
this 8-pack to show it off.
Okay,
So Ozzy would probably be a good one there. Cirie's like, I'm not hiding.
but they don't leave nothing to the imagination. I mean, they keep doing these close-ups. Everybody in these wet, soggy draws. I'm like, it's like Survival 50 in the hands of the OnlyFans. I'm like, damn, everything is out. Everything is out. I mean, my God.
Oh
My God.
Oh my
I see everything. Everything.
I cannot be.
Do you feel that is incorrect, Hannah? Do you have a different title for the season? So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know who I don't want to stay on the island with nobody.
Okay. Well, I'll say, you know who I think would be my pick for hide and seek is Camilla. She's
That's
small.
Camilla's good. If she
She's competitive.
She zipped that thing up like this.
Yeah.
She'd be gone.
Laying in the grass.
I love when she puts her little hood on and she just her little face is showing. I love Camilla.
And she immediately started doing it too in the first episode.
Vicky might be a good one. He can invent. I mean, he's talking about the damn. I said, not. What did he say? It's the. Oh, I wrote it down when he said it. What did he say? Palax. You know how when you see something from a different angle, and it like if you close your eye and your finger jumps when you move your eye, so it changes the positioning, but it's in the same spot, and it's called the.
When he made the fire.
Parallax. The parallax.
Parallax. Wow.
When they was doing the game with him, Cirie, and whoever else was doing that,
Yeah,
he was
that
like,
might be why he lost.
the parallax. So he probably would find a damn parallax of a rock and find out how to cut through it and hide inside of a stone scientifically. I mean, I don't put it past him.
Rick Devens would be good too because I think he would take it.
He'd be
seriously.
competitive. Yeah.
He'd be
We
competitive.
can't hide that.
Okay. All right. This is from Josh Mulker, who says, you're at tribal council and think you see a hidden advantage. How do you go about getting it? All right. Let's talk about that. But Hunter, can you give me your thoughts on the whole idea of hide the fake idol at tribal council? Do you like this idea?
Okay, so I saw clips of this and then saw him hiding before I actually knew what the context was. And in my head, I thought they were hiding a real idol. I thought they had somehow gotten one and was like, hey, if a tribe switch comes up and one of us is in trouble, we know that this is at tribal. Which I was like, that's really an interesting idea. Because I think production would be all for that, because if him and Christian get split up, then they're in trouble. And hey, we always know that this is at tribal where it's going to happen. Hiding the advantage there is also a lot of fun because it just opens up a ton of stuff. And with everybody being so wary and so unsure of, like, what is this thing? Who knows what's going to happen? And knowing Rick Devens and who he is, I actually think may hurt him a little bit because they may be like, oh, he's playing a game to us. But if Christian went up there and grabbed it, it becomes way more viable, in my opinion, because Christian doesn't seem like he plays these kind of games. Rick does. But it being there, I think it's incredibly clever.
Yeah. I mean, my understanding of what they're going to do ultimately is like, hey, there's a time in the future, Rick Devens is about to get voted out. And then before getting voted out, he stands up, goes over, says like, bad news, everybody. I just got the idol. And everybody that they saw it, they see him go and grab it. They didn't see him planting it. They buy it. I don't think they're like, well, let me see that note. Let me read it. It's like, I think that maybe it just erupts into a live tribal council.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's been my thought on what they're trying to do here.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they're trying to do. But I mean, the note is about the Billie Eilish thing, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's going to have to be like,
you can't let them read the note. But I think that maybe in the fog of war of tribal council, that maybe that you just saw him go and find an idol. I don't know if you're like, wait, hold on a second, let me read that that note.
Yeah, that's like the fog of war of tribal council is a real thing that I don't think people appreciate. Where it's crazy and sometimes a little hard to get your bearing on it. Even whenever I was getting voted out, and obviously I was so graceful with that. At one point, I was like, yo, if we're all voting Q, then we can just do the thing where Jeff says, if y'all are voting Q, we'll just send him home right now. No need to go up there. And I turned to present that to the group, and Venus was like, no, we're not doing that. And you're like, Hunter, why don't you pick up then that like something's happening? But that fog of war is crazy when stuff is like it's exploding in front of you.
Tevin, did you like this idea?
I actually wrote down in my notes, I was like, I think it's interesting that, to do that and to see what happens after that. But I like Hunter's, thought of, putting the real one there and, when things flip around, I guess, but I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting gameplay. I think it's new. I think it's inventive. I hope, people are probably terrified to look around tribal council to see if there's an idol there because of it was Adam that tried to was that Adam that tried to use that idol? It is not.
Dan LaFleur or whatever it is, he tried to pull off.
It's not an idol. So, I don't know if people have that expectation, which makes it fun for me because it's unexpected. And in a season of unexpectedness, I think it's a great twist. And I'm wondering how they're gonna use it to their advantage or if it'll blow up. I also kind of wondered, I mean, it was very subtle, but he started digging in his bag and it was silent. And I felt like Emily Flippin like saw it. Like she didn't look and see it, of course, but it just felt so not the right time. I wish he would have pulled it out as they walked away. So I wonder if they just didn't show it, but Emily might have saw it or comments on it later, maybe, because I just felt like it was very apparent you're digging in your bag, and what reason would you have to be digging in your bag at tribal council? I don't know.
She may know about it as well because she's as close with them. Though I have a question though for you, Rob, on game mechanics. If you think this would happen, if you did have an idol you were trying to share with people, could anybody grab it? Like if like, hey, me, Emily, and Christian all want to put my idol there. If technically it's mine, could Emily grab it if she needed it? Like what do you know? What
I think if you're in agreement about it, but I think it would be a different set of rules. Like, so let's say like Rick, Christian, and Emily, they have an idol and they hide it at tribal council, but maybe they hide it in a place where maybe Q sees it and Q goes up at tribal council and he takes it. It's like, well, you hid this at tribal council.
Yeah.
You're not hiding it in your possession. I kind of feel like it'd be finders keepers in that scenario.
Really? Okay. That would be.
But again, I don't know necessarily. Like, I can't imagine. My rule is, and I know that they take the rules very seriously, but I do feel like that when it's a 50-50, I think that they come down on like, what's going to be the better television?
Yeah, what's better television? And they would absolutely love that as television. And then, because then the question is, how does a knowledge is power works then if I've left this at tribal? If someone asked me,
do you have an idol? Well,
no, I do
not on me. I don't have an idol.
It would be a tough one to figure out. So that's introducing some stuff that would be
it's a can of worms. Do you hope?
I love the publicness of it. I love that if somebody does you have to go up in front of everyone, or you have to trip or drop something or whatever. I think it's making things public always, and I think Jeff has talked about that. Making things public always ups the ante for the chaos of the game, because now you have to decide how and when and why you would even go through doing that. And I think that's great for the viewer to watch.
Okay. This is an interesting question from Felipe, who says, what were the expectations on Liz's Applebee's meltdown based on the stories you heard at Ponderosa? So obviously you heard about this before it happened, but you weren't there to see it. does when you hear about something and then it plays out on television, was it bigger than you imagined, or was it about the same?
Like, it was the way that they explained it to me when they came, when they made it to the Ponderosa. I was like, "What? What?" I mean, they explained it pretty much how it occurred. So I was expecting it, but watching it, I was like, "Oh,
Q just kept saying, Hunter, it is worse than you think it is.
Yeah.
We cannot describe how bad it's going to be. He's like, Hunter, it is worse. It is worse. And even what was shown was a toned down version of what actually happened.
Okay.
yeah."
At one point, well, now, I mean, not dive too far.
So many things happened during that season.
But that's just how it was explained to us. Is she kind of flipped out, and
Yeah.
it's worse than you expected.
Because my recent experience with the traders, what I found was that sometimes, like, you hear about something and then when it's on TV, it's like, oh, that wasn't as great as
Well,
what you said it was
there's
gonna
three
be.
different truths when you
Yeah.
play this game that makes it difficult. There's your truth, there's my perception of your truth, and then there's the camera's truth. Like,
Mhm.
all those things have a different angle on the reality. And so after you play, the only people that can really understand it are the people that were there in that moment. Because once you come back and once the game is done and we're watching it, none of us have a cohesive really story, because we all have a different version of the games and the way that things happen in the game, and you will never get to the root of what it truly was, because you can't recall truthfully. The camera doesn't catch all of it, or it does, they'll show all of it, and people's perception of it changes, so you'll never really know.
Yeah. And the reality TV personality also might tend to, like, make their stories sound even more incredible than maybe they actually were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't think? You think that happens?
I think it happens. I think that the memory that players have is like might be a little bit more inflated than the actual thing that happened.
Look,
sure.
I'm telling you, revisionist history is incredible, and some people have a superpower that I do not have, because some people can look at their game and just be like, I was God's gift to Survivor. And I look at my game and I'm like, there is no way I can ever, in good conscience, say that about it. But yeah, definitely people have a tendency to maybe inflate or rewrite small parts that maybe weren't quite as they were.
That's why one of the shows I'm watching right now is Dance Mom. I love Dance Moms. That show is hair rap to me. I loved it. I watched that show faithfully. I watch it every night.
Is it still on? Is new episodes? You watch old Dance Moms?
It is done after Abby went to jail and all
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
It's cooked. However, the reason I bring that up is because I stopped on the last season, and even as the seasons go on, it starts to get progressively a little bit different. And so, what Survivor's the same synonymous on is that when a show starts, they don't know the formula. And they are themselves. They're authentic, and that's what makes it interesting. When the moms on Dance Moms, when they first started, they didn't know the show was going to be that good, but they were yelling and arguing and all this stuff because it was abrasiveness, because that's just who they are. But once people learn the formula of something, they try to slot into it. And so I don't love characters on reality TV that learn this is how it goes. This is what people love. This is what the social media likes. So I'm going to make moments opposed to being authentically yourself and letting the moments, make themselves. So I think that, that to your point, it happens across the reality TV spectrum, and it takes the enjoyment out for me once I know you're trying to be the legacy rather than the legacy happening by the necessity of you just having to be yourself.
Okay. And then Andy Stillerman wants to know, were either of you contacted for Survivor 50?
Yeah.
Let me say, I wasn't. So now that answers your question.
Okay.
In terms of if one of the two of us was and I wasn't, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, to go back to the original thesis is that, there's so many people from Survivor 46 that they could have brought back. At some point, they probably say, okay, well, how many, what, we're going to have 7 people from this cast on the show.
Correct.
But, like, I certainly think, both of you are very viable candidates to return. Do you think Survivor will do more returning player seasons after the success?
I think that they have to.
I think so too.
My prediction has always been is that if they go back to the way that it's been after 50, that people, even my aunt who loves the show, she's like, listen, I can't take it. If they go back to this 3-tribe Fiji thing, like, I can't do it. So people are getting physically exhausted with the same old, same old. So I think to increase their longevity. Jeff CBS, if y'all see this, I think that, the increasing of their longevity comes from now you need to do, themes again. You bring back themes, you can stretch it back out because people want to see, blood versus water again with these new people. They want to see heroes versus villains. They want to see this stuff again, which we haven't seen since season 30, whatever. Like,
Don't
I
ask
think
Hunter.
that's how you change it. I don't know if you go to different places. The world is in turmoil. Please stay in Fiji.
Yeah.
But,
I've said, Hunter, that they should maybe, as they go into the 50s, that it doesn't have to be all returning player seasons. What do you think about the idea of doing some more seasons that have captains or maybe a tribe of returning players coming back with a mix of new players?
I think
Fans versus
that's
favorites.
fun. I mean, what's interesting today though is like the people who are playing now are such big fans anyway. So it'd be like fans versus fans who have played. Like
right. It's such a good point because the the original fans versus favorites, and maybe there's a couple of exceptions, but they were just like, they were recruits. They weren't fans. They had never even seen Survivor before, the people that were on the fans tribe, with a couple of exceptions. But now if you did a fans versus favorite season, like, you bring in these first-time players, and they're people that have been playing in Survivor ORGs and seen 47 seasons of the show, and they're going to come in and play just as hard as the returning players.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that I think it could be fun. I think a lot of it is going to depend on the response from this season, and I think it's already been good.
So far, so good.
And I think there is a freedom in the editing bay whenever you're saying, I don't have to reintroduce this person. There's so much freedom in that. And you have people, like you see, Rick Devens is introducing things already because he's played before. And that's something you kind of miss out on when you have new players each time, is they're really learning how to play on the fly. When you bring people back, they have been concocting ideas that are accurate. Because so, like, if you're a fan and you're watching, you have an idea of what you'll do when you get out there. But you get out there and you're actually, this is not at all what I thought it was going to be. But when you bring back people who have played before, they have an idea of how they could do a lot of stuff. And I think it's fun.
Yeah. Tevin, was there anything else from your notes that we didn't hit on?
I feel like you ask me that every single time.
Well, I never want to feel like that we left something, like left meat on the bone.
Yeah. Oh, listen, I don't leave no meat on the bone. The meat is gone. Don't give me old rib. Ozzy out there. Ozzy looked like Rambo. Yes. Yes, he does.
Rambo and Shambo.
Shambo. No. There's Shambo, but then there's the character.
So you think
Rambo? Don't do me.
Shambo.
Don't do me. I'm not trying to say Shambo. Rambo. I said what I said. See how y'all trying to?
Well, he looked like Shambo.
These are my notes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah,
well, your notes, Hunter.
Oh, I love the warships of Genevieve and Aubrey. I love watching them see each other and playing this game of Battleship. Like, I see you, I'm trying to hit your boat. Like, I love that dynamic. I don't know how that's gonna play out, but I love watching that.
Yeah.
Mike White is cut up. Oh, Rizzo. I don't know why, Rizzo, when you see this, I don't know why you putting your syllables on the wrong word, on the wrong part of the thing, but it's okay. He said, Vatu. He said motivating. No, he said what did he say? Motivating? Is that what he said? He just says syllables all over the place, which I think is just hilarious because he's such a character, even his syllables are doing it. But no, I think we hit everything I wanted to talk about. I think that, to what we were, talking about, I think that they will do. There's so many great people in the Survivor lexicon to, bring that up. Is like, so many people could have been there. So many people I think will be there. And 50 is going to happen. It's a big thing. And then 51 is going to happen. And then 50, it's going to go on. And people are going to be asked back. And so they did, call me and contact me. And I think we ended up not going through with it like sometime like late March or April or something.
Yeah, sounds right.
I think that so many people have a chance and opportunity to come back. And I think that they will because there's so many great people. I want to see Hunter back on the beach personally. And I've told him that since we got home. I think that he
Hunter versus Christian versus Jonathan.
That's it. Just them three.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Well, you have a tribe. You have a tribe of like versus those three. Okay, and then what about? Did you all ever go through anybody's bag when you were out there?
Did we? I don't think.
I never did.
Like we did.
You guys had the advantages. Yeah.
No, I didn't go through anybody's bag, but also I didn't keep anything in my bag. That's what's so strange is people are like, we gotta look through their bag. My stuff never went in my bag. Like
somebody looked through somebody's bag. I want to say Venus looked through somebody's bag, but we were all there. I think we looked through somebody. Maybe it was random.
You may have looked through my bag. I don't know. But my stuff.
We looked through somebody's bag. It might have been your. It could have been. I wouldn't let that happen. But somebody. I think Venus looked through
He
somebody's
doesn't care.
bag.
Stuff's not in there.
Yeah, I don't know what I have a vague memory of us doing that, and I don't know why, but I feel like that
No,
occurred.
I didn't go through anybody's bag. And
I
I
did
don't
not.
think people understand how like kind of an invasion of privacy it really will feel like as you're going through somebody's bag, because that's all you have out
Yeah.
there. Like it is like you're picking through their underwear, through their socks, through whatever shells they've collected. It is very like, okay, I'm going like through somebody's like only personal belongings in this world at this time.
Yeah.
So you really got to be convinced.
And your bag is a strategy. You know, I think Aubrey taking hers was a little bit of like of a because Genevieve clearly clocked. At first, I wrote in my notes, I was like, I think players can create their own paranoia, and I thought that's what Genevieve was doing. But then when I saw Aubrey with the bag, knowing that Christian had sent her the idol, I was like, oh, so Genevieve was correct in her assertion. So I maybe not take your bag with you down the path, because why do you need it? So stuff like that are like kind of dead giveaways, and we'll see how that plays out. But Genevieve was on it.
The only time I hid stuff in my bag was like the food that I had left over from our reward. When we had the merge, I would take my bag to go change, and I would eat my food away from everybody else, like well into the merge. I saved like one cake a day and lasted me, I think, until the day that you left.
One cake a day.
Yeah, we had a lot. Like these little pastry
we had won the baked goods, so we had all this stuff. I gave the rest of mine to
they were like, we're gonna share. We're gonna share. I was like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I should have let them stop, but I was trying. That's how I am as a human. Like I can't go to McDonald's, come back home, and people sit here and I eat in front of you. Like I wanted to give them, something, just to say. And I think I said it in the confessional. I'm like, hello, human. Let's play the game. But this is just something genuine I wanted to do for y'all. But I should have let them damn starve.
Okay. Anything else that you guys want to mention before we wrap things up?
I'm curious of two things. One, does Genevieve seem like she's more anxious this round? Like, I feel like last time she was like, it's like her and Q have all like, Genevieve is the one that's kind of going wild on that trap. Like, she's like, want to look at people's bag. That weird stare down that her and Aubrey had. Well, I was like, what is happening here? Like, I always felt like Genevieve was very cool and like go with the flow. I'm still very strategic, but she's been way more.
Well, I think Aubrey frightens her. I think she sees, herself and all. Like, I think it's just that's how they're setting it up anyway. So I think that's frightening her, and that probably does cause an anxiety. And then I think anybody coming back and playing a second time has to, figure out who am I? Do I do what I did last time, or do I try something different? And like the dichotomy of how you play that out. So I think she's trying to be cool, but also I think that the thought of that is probably causing anxiety too.
And the second thing is, y'all know who Debbie Ryan is?
Yes.
Like the one from Disney Channel. Does Angelina remind y'all of her?
I don't know Debbie Ryan. I'm gonna look this up.
You're too
Please put the picture on the screen.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, I think Angelina is so fun. So Angelina, if you're watching this,
you think she looks like her, or she acts like
not
Debbie
necessarily looks like her, but like watch some like this is so bad. But like some of the red carpet stuff that Debbie Ryan has done, and then like some of the red carpet stuff that Angelina did, and there are some similar mannerisms. I think Angelina is so much fun.
That's hilarious.
There's a group out there that will understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's so specific too. How do you know Debbie Ryan?
Because like I ain't that old. We'll figure it out later. People are like, what is this? What are we talking about?
Okay. All right. Well, Tevin, where can people keep up with everything you're doing?
Listen, you can follow me anywhere on TikTok and Instagram and Threads. I think it's Tevin.m.Davis if you want to follow me.
Just not on the
YouTube.
Streets.
Don't follow you on the streets.
Follow me on the streets. You can follow
Don't go to Kenzie's work, and don't follow Tevin on the street.
Correct. No, do not follow me on the streets. No, in these streets, but not actually in the street. And trust and believe that I know that I like to wear button-ups and little cute things, but I keep things on me if you walk up on me the wrong way. I'm not liable for what happens to you if you walk up on me unexpectedly. Trust and believe that. But you can follow me anywhere. I am trying my best to keep, our head above water. I've grown such a big platform now with being able to, do Kamala and also bring me to the forefront and kind of give people joy when there is none. So If you are in need or whatever, you can follow me there and join the people. But that's where I will be, and details about a tour and all of that stuff is coming. A lot of stuff is coming, and I'll be announcing it later. So
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Can't wait to hear more. Hunter, what about for you?
Yeah, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm not super great about posting on it, but we are having a big PHMACKK. If you're interested, we are doing a big Child's Play Survivor meet Squid Games thing. Kevin's going to be there. Yeah, we have a
Yes, but we do background checks. If you're applying, we do background checks. So don't apply if you got 3 felonies.
If you're crazy, we did it last summer. We had 10 survivors come and play, and there were 100 adults who came out and played, and it was a lot of fun.
It was really well done. It was fun.
My most recent video is talking about it on my Instagram. If you want to check that out, you would have to travel to Mississippi to do it. But we've had over 160 who have signed up, and that's not even including the survivors who are coming back to do it. And so that is the big thing, that if anyone is interested out there, check it out. You as well,
You
Rob.
should come. It's very fun. It's very fun.
All right. Well, it sounds amazing. Looking forward to seeing more about that. We've got so much more still coming your way this week. And if you haven't checked it out, watch my video breaking down Rick Devens and Joe from this week's episode. I had so much fun breaking it down and really getting into the backstory of both of these guys. And it was a really fun video to make. So check that out. We're looking forward to seeing what you have to say in the comments. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.